Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Love Talk Radio.
Warning, you have entered the realm of the God. So give us your mind and your full attention. So you say you deal with esoteric information? I never heard of such. Well, you're in for a treat. Blog talk.
This is the blog talk.
Alim El-Bey.
Dropping jewels every day.
Blog talk.
This is the blog talk.
Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. Blog talk. This is the blog talk. Alim El-Bey. Dropping jewels every day. Blog talk. This is the blog talk. Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. So you claim to be a god? Damn right I'm a god. The maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, father, civilization, god of the universe. Wow, I didn't know that. 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 So tune in to lose, friend. All strategies apply mathematically. The information you drop is real powerful. So get your notepad, it's more than an hour full. Watch your jaw, the crew with watch the song. Indigenous to the land wherever we stand. First world order, we bringing it home in the first quarter. Invisible lines don't apply, we cross borders. Silly rabbit, knowledge for God. No matter where you reside, my simple for mine. So don't fret or proceed with hesitation. Just tune in to Blog Talk to get the information.
Peace. Peace, y'all. Glad y'all could join us.
Whether you suffer from pain in your back, the aches in your knees, come on down and purchase you some ancestral tea to get rid of all the parasites, toxins, and fleas. Spiritual elevation for cosmic gravitation. So put away the patience, because there's no time to be wasted. That's what you need.
Peace, y'all.
Ancestral team. And I want real. Ancestral team. Put away your feel. Ancestral team. That's all you need.
Gotta get hydrated. This is water without sodium in it. This is natural spring water. You know, too, we spewing up our own water out the line. I think this is the best for blood type O people. Especially people who deal with high blood pressure. You don't need to be drinking no sodium.
All right,
so be back. Word. Right. Peace, y'all.
Peace to the God. You already know, man. Yo, but we think it with the you brought the peace, the healing, the energy is close to provide my identity. I feel like people step, architect like info step, the sun had the sun, self the God devil with the heart of the dark, with the slight heart. You can feel it in your bone marrow before the shit starts. Standing in the cold with a scroll that was written in gold. Behold the whole glimpse that was never untold. Infinite like the eighth river dwelling in your melon, no felon, though the unrighteous say that I'm rebellious. I'm flying for my rhymes to incite our worship, no idol. My style of all the gems going down in the spiral. You're stuck in your room, my intelligence past my proof. The God is the truth. Every time I step in the booth, steps on the stoop, yacht, scoop, the swoop in my loop. Through the knowledge, wax and see, get played like blue. Wish the sun up the star. Gifts from the gods, roof, flying through the sky with golden wings. Turns into the light. Not everybody go to game with the separate with justice. Melody cultivate cheese, so we all family finally becoming one with the righteous sun. So long, so long, magnificent love, foundational love, scattered rays for days from the heavens above. Soul below, stole, trapped in the most depths of hell, incarnated in 76 trillion cells. To break free, we must be defined, masculine and feminine, property defined. The devil's up of the kitchen, from the day to tell me what it is today. Now I'm pushing that close to the victims. Still getting in the Bible that you just spoken parable. The scriptures that got me on just historical. When you time to just work, you take a literal. Most of it is allegorical, they from esoteric principles. That's the first method. Put a pop quarter in push it to open with it. One of the first special thing of vantage. Captures the aliens and the nonsense. They bottom out the text to the reptilians. So the original aliens. So beware with your coding and Satan. So they ain't too original, so ignorant. So we crush it in the Leviathan. Battle rock control system with suggestion. Brains rushing indoctrination. Using religion, politics, reputation. Economic social labor. And Continue war, no chasing the war. In the chessboard game, no actual war and bonds. Purposeful feelings hold by the money bond. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God.
You said what? User already have an account connected to. That's okay.
All right, peace, peace, peace. We are back in the house, in the building. This is your host, Dr. Alim Bey. My wife, Khadirah El-Bey, is here, as you see. Also, my co-host, Brother Fahim L, is on the line, and I'm getting ready to bring him in a second. And to everyone, we say, Eha Te Watch to Ish, which basically means the light within me, greet the light within you, and yo, we at peace. You know what I mean? All right, Brother L, you here?
I tell you what's going on.
Yeah,
I tell you, watch the Taish.
How you doing tonight?
Oh yeah.
All right. We're gonna get into.
I looked at the phone number, so I had to change the number. So,
Right.
But I'm here.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got on. You know, always glad to hear from you. And and do that co-host thing and get things popping for the audience, for those that's listening out there in radio land. And of course, we'll be getting into Doctor Strange movie. My wife and I, we seen it about a month ago, and so we was waiting till basically the hype was finished, and everybody might have been able to, gather what they gathered from it. But we had to do a show about it. My wife got on me, we got to do a show on it. I wanted to see it in 3D. Didn't get a chance to do that. So we just seen that the regular movie, but we got a chance to see it. That's the thing. So basically, we know that in the opening scene, all right, basically a priest, hence a librarian, all right, a librarian, basically in Kathmandu in Nepal. We see that the sorcerer, Caecilius and his zealots enter the secret compound of Kamar Taj and basically murders the librarian and string him up in 5 directions, basically. Well, 4 directions: arm, leg, arm, and then his head is cut supreme. You know what I mean? And that head get cut, and that head got cut, off, symbolic to that supreme head, which symbolizes the name of Allah, and he got pulled apart, right?
Yeah, like they used to do the so-called slaves. Well.
Which you get the book, Afro History by Malcolm X. He spoke about one of the tactics that they would use in order to scare slaves were to have us stringed up just like that. And matter of fact, they did that to
Tar
James
and feather.
Right. Matter of fact, they did that to James Byrd too, down in Texas, back in the 90s, if y'all remember. And Dr. Kali had to go down there and get them jokers straight, and the New Black Panther Party went down there, and they went there in order to protect, the family of brother James Byrd, and they pulled his body apart.
Sure did.
Right? Same thing they used to do. That was the same exact tactics that they used to do to us during slavery that is recorded in Afro History written by Malcolm X or El Hashim Malik Al-Shabazz. Just go and get the book, Afro History, and he speaks about it. This is where the origin of what we call the Willie Lynch speech comes from, which in the Willie Lynch speech, regardless of how, quote unquote, someone wrote it,
how fictitious it was.
How fictitious it
it's
allegedly
based on
is.
Real events.
It was based from something in which that actually happened.
Right.
This is where they used to take the slave down into the Caribbeans and do what they was called break the slave. And one of the breaking methods was stringing up a male by his extremities and pulling him apart. Well, in this case, the librarian was pulled apart and his head was chopped off, if y'all remember. All right, so that was actually the killing of Allah, symbolically, you know what I'm saying, of God. And that's what they was doing. Remember, they came in as they was walking with their hoods on, walking into the library, all right, in Kathmandu, in Nepal. When they came in, they was doing this mudra. They was doing this particular mudra. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That mudra is known within the Hindu texts and within those who practice yoga techniques to be the removal of negativity. That's what this symbolizes. And you've seen them walking like this into the library. So that was a hand mudra for the removal of negativity. All right. And I wanted to make that clear because that's powerful.
Yeah, that's definitely powerful.
Right.
Also, too, at the beginning of the movie, it came in with Britney Spears' song, and she was singing "Baby, Baby."
Right, baby, one more time. Right. And now the priest was playing this song, baby, 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 one more time. Now, think about this for a second. We remember Britney Spears, you know, at the age of 8, her and her mother, Lynn, traveled to Atlanta in the 90s, and she became part of the revival of the Mickey Mouse Club.
Right.
All right. And basically, she became a monarch slave or MK Ultra or mind control agent, musical agent for Disney. Now, look who distributed the movie. Walt Disney. Disney Studios distributed this particular movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They distributed this movie. Now, that's deep that they will use that as the entrance or the music for the movie.
And how you know she was a mind control agent, when she was being interviewed, she was like, good Brittany. And then she was like trying to get herself together, and she was like clucking and stuff. So
exactly. As a matter of fact, we know that Disney is one of the so-called top Illuminati families. All right, and is also part of the International Satanic Child Molestation and Sacrifice Ring, now known here as Pizzagate for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Which we spoke about, you know, a couple of weeks ago. But Britney Spears revealed that in 2007, after she had that breakdown and after she shaved her head, you know, on ABC and NBC, she distributed, just like my wife said, the multi-personalities, which is basically dissociative identity disorder. All right. And me as a sociologist, I can go into that, but I won't go into that right now. All right. Because there's a lot of information surrounding that. But basically, they asked Britney, why did she shave her head? And she said, I don't want anyone touching me. I'm tired of everybody touching me. Now, what she mean by that? You know what I mean? What she mean? What did she mean by that? Now, you know, and then she had a song that she sung, said, I'm a slave for you. All right. So what was she talking about? I don't want nobody touching me. And the song that she had, one of the songs that she had, I'm a slave for you. All right. So she started that breakdown, and that was revealed when she was getting interviewed that time, right?
Right.
And so you can go find out Arizona Wilder speak about it. Fritz Springmeier, Kay Griggs, Kathy O'Brien, David Icke, Alex Jones, William Bill Cooper, Ted Gunderson. Now, Ted Gunderson, he had some FBI agents to come to Fayetteville State University back in '91 when I was junior class president, and told us about the satanic ring that was being ran. And it wasn't just nationally. He said this was international. And the FBI knew about this.
Right.
This was back in '91. Right? This was back in '91. So all of a sudden, the Pizzagate thing is fictitious.
Right.
But we was told this by the FBI, who came to our college which we both an alumni of Felton State University, all right? And I was junior class president, and they told the people that I rode with, who was some of the members of the SGA at that time, that investigating branches of satanic activity where they would do sacrifices, as well as what they would do. Some of the members of the SGA at that time, that what's going on? They were investigating
it's going
branches of satanic activity where they would do sacrifices, as well as what they would do. Some of the members of the SGA at that time, that was going on. So investigating
it's going
branches of satanic activity where they would do sacrifices. Okay. All right, we try technical difficulties, y'all. We're gonna get it back in a second. Just bear with us for a second here.
No, we're still in. You live.
All right, so we still live. All right, now. All right, keep going.
I was trying to like comment because I feel like when we comment and interact, 'cause I be needing to talk to y'all too.
Yeah, know? Well, I'm gonna let you talk in a second. Okay. I just want to talk about that. So, now. All right, keep going.
I was trying. Okay, we all good. I just ain't gonna be able to talk to them too.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right. So basically, what we found out was that this is real.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to discuss about if it's fake or whatever the case is, as if they was tempted to say. All right. Now, it was just strange that they would play that song. You know, we didn't see the purpose of that song.
Also, too, which this is a touchy subject, while we were doing the knowledge to the Pizzagate and all this stuff that's going on, it was obvious, too, why Malachi York was doing what he was doing. Because remember, he was in the music industry. You had Jay-Z holding up his picture in his first album, video. Then you also had Queen Latifah. I don't know how, you don't never hear her really doing anything other than the homosexuality vibes. And then I remember she had a Smith & Wesson thing go on. But as far as like Jay-Z with the spirit cooking chef.
Right.
You know?
Which is Morena Abram Ovak, or Amovic.
They taking semen and
blood,
menstrual blood,
as well as also breast milk and breast milk. She was in his video Picasso. All right, and in that video, her and Jay-Z got forehead, face to face together, and he just grinning like a coon. All right, y'all probably seen that. If not, go and check out the video. Jay-Z. Picasso video. All right, but this shows all these same connections over and over again in this industry, and many have spoken about it. In particular, my man Professor Griff. You know, Bobby broke it down about the gay boule back in the days too. You know, so these are brothers who talked about it. I spoke about the Illuminati 30 years ago. All right, but we have to talk about it because this is part of the constituents in which that we see in this movie with Caecilius and his crew of these sorcerers. That's what they were symbolic to in that regard. All right. And then, of course, it was all in the way of the mystic arts. And then you have the ancient one to pursue these particular traders. But amazingly, Caecilius calls her the hypocrite. Why does he call her the hypocrite? Because by the end of the movie, you find out that she was drawing power from the dark world in order to stay young and to have immortality. And so he was like, yo, I want that too. So you keep all the good magic for yourself, you know, and we, you know what I'm saying, just get the leftovers.
However, in his quest to deal with the dark energy, he was corrupted. You could see all in his face how he was dealing. What was his name? Damam. He was dealing with Damam, and his eyes was all dark, and she was trying to explain to him.
You're right. Damamu was that character of that entity from out of the so-called dark dimension. Right, and of course, the dark dimension is basically what we refer to as triple stage darkness. All right, all of us come out the triple stage darkness or out the mama, the mama. All right, all of us come out the mama. All right, but this is what they had in the movie. The mama was quote unquote the evil black entity with blue eyes, that is, who came from out of this blackness. You know what I'm saying, or darkness. You know, darkness. You know, you remember that Rick James used to call Charlie Murphy that Charlie Murphy.
You know what was deep too? Because Eileen was saying that Alan Thicke is a ritual too. That they killed him, and I'm like, nah, guy. He said he wasn't feeling good, you know, before he went skating, and
playing hockey with his son. Yeah.
Okay, and then it was deep because he was like, okay, well, look at Rick James. When he tried to come back out, Tina Marie, when she tried to come back out, Ray Charles, when he tried to come back out, Michael Jackson.
Heavy D.
I was like, oh,
left eye.
You might be on something.
Right.
You know, when they try to come back out. And we'll see because That's So Raven supposed to be coming back out too. And then Orlando, he been acting up. So we'll see if they going to come back out, if that formula stands true with that.
Right. There's just a lot of strange things. Remember, we talking about Hollywood, which we broke this down many times on previous radio shows, you know, so go and check those out if you need to. You know, we definitely would love for you to check them out. And so, you know, Dylan, particular movie, we said produced by Marvel Studios, but it was distributed by Walt Disney Studio and Motion Pictures. Of course, it was created by Stan Lee. Now, anyway, this priest, magician, librarian, he's pulled, like we said, apart by what? Energy lassos, you know?
By fire, which remember they used to tar and feather us and then catch us on fire.
Right, exactly. And so we talk about Caecilius too, when he called the Ancient One a hypocrite. And like we said, why? Partially because the mirror ritual that she did was part of what their magic was, you know, their regular magic. However, the problem is that he was able to sense, or the magic that she did also, he seen pull forth the dark world. Now, he was attempting to pull from the dark world, and that's why he went to the library and he tore the page from out the book. Now, if you notice, the books was written in Sanskrit, which is an ancient Hindu-Kush language, all right? And if you notice, and I'll get to that in a second, because just keep that in mind, all right? Just keep that in mind what I'm talking about here. Now, in that ritual, she was drawn from the light, or she was allegedly the light, and she was drawn forth from the dark, all right? Now, this is the same thing that is talked about in the book of Isaiah, where God said that I make light and create darkness. You know what I'm saying? Essentially. So when we're talking about that, let me show you. When we're talking about that, you know, that get deep. Because we know that Stephen Strange himself, he was a doctor, so he was already into the healing modalities. His whole thing was about healing.
And he was good too. Now, the another part in the movie, which is at the beginning, is they had a gunshot wound victim who had gotten a bullet lodged in his spinal column. So he was not dead. However, they were already trying to harvest his organs. So the sister, she was like, okay, well, let me get another opinion, which they had. This would have been the third opinion, which was Dr. Strange. And she knew that he was good at what he did. And she was like, look, something ain't right. You know, they trying to harvest his organs. I need another opinion. So he looked at it. He was like, well, dog, he still got a bullet in his head. You know, and then it has these metal alloys. And of course, if it's seeping into his spinal column, then of course it will cause him to be brain dead, but he's not dead. So then they went running to go stop them from harvesting his organs. And then he went and effortlessly and simply went and pulled the bullet out of his spinal column. out of his brainstem. So that's deep, because they are also killing people and harvesting their organs. And the FBI knows about that as well. You know,
Sure
as a matter
do.
of fact, we just got a picture of some melatonin pills.
Matter of fact, it's called pineal.
Yeah, pineals.
Pineal.
100% pineals.
100% pineals.
Y'all.
Now, where they gathering pineals from? Now, we know about melatonin.
Yeah.
All right, we know about melatonin,
But where are they gathering pineals
but
from?
they're getting pineals. And it says 100% natural sources.
I'm going to share the screen so y'all can see it. Because we had a brother and a sister send it to us. But that's deep, family. You know what I mean? So that's why family is so important. You know, we need to be rolling together, and we need to be more organized, and we need to be traveling together, period.
Right. And when I'm talking also, you know, that the ancient one who Caecilius referred to as a hypocrite, the ancient one biblically is really talking about the Ancient of Days, which is mentioned in the book Daniel's, the 7th chapter, the 9th verse. And basically it's talking about the hair like wool, you know, and how God would look, right? And that goes back to Revelation, the 1st chapter, the 14th through the 15th verse, you know, about hair like lamb's wool, feet as if it was burnt in the furnace, you know, voice of many waters, etc., etc. So we know also that the Empress Viriace Gaston El-Bey, she wrote a book called what? Return of the Ancient Ones. All right, now if you go to the book of the Necronomicons, according to H.P. Lovecraft, the earth was once ruled by the old ones, or the ancient ones, who was powerful beings from other worlds and other dimensions. Well, what was that whole science of movies about? It's about them being able to go into what? Dimensions, right? These portals, these doorways. Now remember, this is the same thing that you've seen on Matrix, same thing you've seen on Inception, same thing you've seen on Adjustment Bureau, right?
Right.
All these they always open up the door, which led to another portal, another area, another dimension.
Which mirrors do that naturally.
Right, right. That's why they showed a lot of mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, the whole thing about allegedly a magic is smoke and mirrors. You know what I'm saying? But in this, they were showing you particular sigils, right? Which was written in Sanskrit. Now that's when you go back and you look the pictures that was in the book. One of the sigils that was on that page that Dr. Strange brought back when he was using that particular eye, which was actually an infinity stone, which I'll get to that in a few. But the pages that he brought back, which happened to be the same pages that Caecilius took out, right, was the page in which that shows you basically the butterfly effect. That's what that symbol was. That was basically the butterfly effect. And what is the butterfly effect? All right? You know, what is it? You know, so when you go and do your research on what the butterfly effect is
that the smallest thing will have an effect on the next thing, on the future.
Exactly.
So they call it a butterfly effect because they say that the wings of a butterfly can cause a tornado in the neighboring county.
Right. So, all right, I don't know if y'all can see this, but this is how it looks. Right? That is basically how that symbol look. And I'll show you what that symbol is. Hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, here it is.
Okay,
right
this
here.
was the actual image in the movie.
This was the image in the movie, if you can see that. Now, this here is the butterfly effect and what I'm talking about. This here is the Baphomet symbol. All right, and we'll get to this in a second.
But it's also arm, leg, arm, head. And I also see wings. There's the head.
Like a
there's
butterfly.
The legs.
Like a butterfly.
And the arms.
Right, also looks like a butterfly too, which symbolizes that butterfly effect also. So let's go down, and like my wife said, she broke it down just now about the butterfly, right, effect on how it can create. And it says the butterfly effect is the concept that the small causes can have large effects. Initially, it was used with weather prediction, but later the term became a metaphor used in and out of science. In chaos theory, the butterfly effect is the sensitive dependence on initial conditions in which a small change in one state of determinants, nonlinear system, can result in a large differences in a later state or latter state. It says the name coined, which is Edward Lorenz, for the effect has been used and been known now for a long time before, but is derived from the metaphorical example of the detail of a hurricane, as my wife spoke about, right, exact time of formation, exact path taken, being influenced by minor perturbations,
such as the flapping wings of a distant butterfly.
Exactly. Which could occur several
weeks earlier. Yes,
okay. So that was, remember, that was the whole science behind them talking about the space-time continuum that Dr. Strange was messing with. But he was a natural adept at it, all right? He was a natural adept at it. So that is part of that.
And which makes sense. A small change can manifest a significant difference.
Right.
Say, for instance, like if you have a bad dream, you can change your clothes in a dream to help change it, or you can keep your behind still. You see what I'm saying? And maybe avoid something disastrous happening.
Right.
You know?
Right. So Dr. Strange, as we know, was a brain specialist, a neurosurgeon, right?
Okay.
And as my wife was talking about,
and he was arrogant. You should see how he was. You know what I mean? He was arrogant. He knew he was the best, and he was.
Right.
So then the next scene was he actually was on his way to a party. He had on his little, you know.
But hold on, before we get there, I gotta go back to the doctor scene.
Okay.
Because we got to talk. Remember, we talked about Britney and how she's a mind control agent. The next song that they play is Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh yeah.
Is Earth, Wind, and Fire, Shining Star.
Yeah. That's when he was in surgery, helping somebody that we didn't even know about.
Right.
We didn't know what their details was.
Right. Now, of course, we know Shining Star was written by Maurice White. It was written by Philip Bailey and Larry Dunn, or Lorenzo Dunn. Now, the thing about it is that when the album was released in 1975, it was named That Way of the World, right? And That Way of the World album was actually number one. It was the number one, basically R&B and pop hit album. You know what I'm saying? And basically the best-selling album for 1975, and it went triple platinum. Right now he's in there listening to it, and he's grooving and doing surgery at the same time, and his toe is tapping, and he's moving. He's, you know what I'm saying, grooving to the joint.
He was.
Then all of a sudden, he said, "Yo, make this more challenging."
He was like, "Okay, the final hour."
Right, and make this more challenging. And then they put on Chuck Mangione, which was in 1977. Feel So Good, and that played next, and that was the challenge round. So Shining Star, which symbolizes what you should attempt to achieve and ascend to, become a star up in the sky, which symbolizes your higher self, as compared to Feel So Good, which would be just simply the feelings of the lower world and lower self. In other words, materialization, materialism, physicality, as well as also just dealing with sexual habits, appetites and habits. And that's why it's called Feel So Good. So sex, temptation is what? It's a challenge. That's why that was called the challenge round. So basically, it was breaking down to you the left and the right-hand path. The right-hand path was become a shining star. You know what I'm saying? Which Earth, Wind, and Fire talked about, which symbolizes what? The four elements. And the water was the music itself. All right. And then what happened is that Feel So Good, brother blowing a horn, and basically it symbolized you going to the left-hand path, which dealt with, you know, the sex, temptations, the challenges of the world, and what you're going to do. That's why they played that song, because it was called that. That's the way of the world. What's the way of the world? The way of the world is sexual habits. All right? And that's why they went straight to Feel So Good, because they were showing you the dichotomy between one who realized higher self properties, which is the shining star attribute of yourself, which is the activation of the soul, hence the word solar, soul or ra, as compared to the lower self just feeling good. All right, so I wanted to get that in.
I'm glad you did, because that was the third song. Now remember, the first song was the
Right.
Britney Spears song, and the lyrics that they let play was, "Oh baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that something wasn't right here? Oh baby, baby, I should have let you go, and now you're out of my sight." You see, so how do you know that something isn't right here? Because you got people like us telling you, but also because you already know.
Indeed, indeed. All right, so we wanted to get that information in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, Dr. West was the guy who, I wouldn't say so much of a combatant against, I wouldn't say that he was a combatant.
But he just wasn't as good as Dr. Strange.
Right, he wasn't as good because he's the one who ended up leaving the bullet in the head.
So he could harvest them organs,
right.
Which, as you know, the organ harvesting is very financially lucrative.
Profitable, right.
So he could have got this guy's lungs, kidneys, heart,
right,
you know.
Eyes.
Mm-hmm. And then he was trying to tell him, he was like, okay, so his organs are being poisoned by a toxic metal that has shut down his nervous system.
Right.
So do you still want his organs now? You know, so it was, and then they just started running on into surgery. Okay, so the next scene, it goes into him, you know, wearing his full piece suit, and he's on his way up a mountain, and then he's listening to, I guess, his secretary tell him what surgeries are coming up. So it was one that was very familiar. He was like, okay, why would I do that? Anybody could do that one. Go to the next one. And he was like, oh, it's a female who had a microchip and she got struck by lightning. And then he was like, that's interesting. Right. And he was like, send me the information for that. So he all, you know, ego tripping, navigating all fast in his little cute little sports car. And then he goes off this cliff. And I'm talking about he rose and hit every rock. It's a wonder how he didn't die.
Right. So
they said it took, I believe, 7 hours to find him or to get him out of it. And then when he awakens, his hands are in front of him, and they have how many pins was it?
Dozens. It looked like.
They actually said it.
I can't even remember how many.
But y'all know that was significant. And he's like, what? Look at this horrible job they did, you know. Right. And it was a horrible job. He was over there looking like he had Frankenstein hands.
Now, the fact that he was a brain expert and a surgeon. Now, remember, there's 29 compartments in the brain that's dedicated to the hands alone. 4 compartments in your brain dedicated to one specific area of your body. There's no other area in your body that is that compartmentalized.
It has that many functions from your brain. So that's why it's so important to do the healing touch, which is also known as Reiki or Raka. That's what our ancestors called it.
And as we see, that became something in which he had to go into.
Right.
Because his girl, who was Christine Palmer, who was his former girlfriend or lover, also a doctor, told him that, yo, you can do other things besides with just being a surgeon and heal. He couldn't see that. He could not see that for the life of him.
Now, another significant thing was because he was rich, he had very expensive watches.
Right.
So they made sure that they emphasized that
the watch,
that time,
right?
You know, was important. As a matter of fact, he asked Dr. West to cover up his watch. Mm-hmm. You know, and he also said something like, "I don't want them calling the wrong time of death." You know, that type of thing. So time was very significant in this movie.
Right, and significant because he became the master of time. Actually, you know, this is what Mordo was telling him. This is the brother who was a Moor, and his name was Mordo.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We ain't gonna let you bypass that one, you know, because
but it needs to be pointed out.
Yeah, it needs to be pointed out. But let me get to this. That he goes, he get told by a brother, another Moor, all right, who told him that, yo, I got a case of a guy who healed 100% from these injuries.
Okay, now this was his physical therapist, because he had been asking his friends, his buddies, like, look, you know what I mean? Please do something with these things. I can't function.
Right.
And they were like, look, man, you asking us to do something that's impossible.
Right.
You know, so his physical therapist was like trying to make him squeeze his fingers so he could have strength again in his fingers.
Right.
And that's when his physical therapist was like, look, here's a dude. His name was
Jonathan Pangborn.
Pangborn. It was deep because it had a lot of nines and the time that the situation had taken place.
Right. Matter of fact, it was 12/9/14, and the study time was 9/34/42. So it was 9.
So 395,
right,
which
right,
is 8.
Right.
Deals with continuity. And what was the other one?
9/34/42. So
that's 7/7.
Right.
Which is 5. So he was able to master the physical body so that it can continue to function properly.
Right.
And that's what his issue was, because he had a severed spine. It was his C7 and his C8.
Right.
And actually, he came to Dr. Strange.
They go to number 8 again, and they go to number 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how they correlated that?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, 8 and 7 together is what?
6, 15.
Right, 15, which is 6,
mm-hmm.
which is man itself. So
right.
So Jonathan tells, Dr. Strange, he goes and, he goes and
sees this dude
right.
playing basketball with the rest
right.
of them. He like, wait a minute. He was like, you know what? Jonathan was like, I remember. And remember, Jonathan means love. It's symbolic to the heart chakra. Right. So Jonathan was like, I remember you. You Dr. Strange. You wouldn't help me when I needed you. You wouldn't even come out your office when your coworker told you I was out there. And he was like, yeah, man, because your jaw, you was seriously just messed up. It wasn't nothing I could do. He was like, nah, you just didn't want to mess up your record. Mm-hmm. And he was like, but there wasn't nothing I could do.
Right.
So then he was like, you know what? I'll explain to you where I went.
Right. So Jonathan breaks down and he says, basically, I've given up on my body.
Mm-hmm.
Thought my mind is the only thing I had left.
So I might as well elevate it.
So I could at least try to elevate that.
That thing was powerful.
Right. So he said, I sat with gurus, sacred women, and strangers who carried me to the mountaintops. I found my teacher, and my mind was elevated, and my spirit was deepened.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and so how, and then Stephen drops in and says, your body healed. And so he comes back and says, yes. And there was deeper secrets to learn there,
mm-hmm.
but I did not have the strength to receive them.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically I settled for my miracle and I came back home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what he said.
That's basically what he said. And
That's deep.
And he said, the place that you're looking for is called Kamar Taj. No.
Kamar.
And so Stephen comes back and said, well, what's the cost? Basically said, but the cost there is high. And Stephen said, how much? He said, I'm not talking about money. And told him, good luck. All right. So that is part of the.
Now, behind him on the wall, it said crept, CREPT. And then it looked like it was an image too in the graffiti. It was a whole bunch of graffiti going on too. Mm-hmm. So like pyramids, and it was a whole bunch of stuff going on. It looked like eyes. And it was lots of Baphomets in this movie too.
Right.
Because they were doing a whole bunch of sacred geometrical shapes and, because they were constantly like turning around the dimensions. So like you could be walking horizontally and then everybody just jump on the side of the building and they just start walking on the side of the building. Then they were opening up portholes and jumping through them all through the movie. It was definitely eventful. It was high impact. It was a really good movie.
Indeed. And so we find out too that he gets to Kathmandu in Nepal, and the brother he meets is Mardu, and he ends up getting to a fight. 3 or 4 guys jump him in order to try to take his watch.
Oh yeah.
Mardu comes in, whip their behinds, get the watch back.
Now Mardu is following him with a black hoodie on. And he hears him inquiring about this sacred place, which he knows exactly where it is. But these robbers mess up his watch. And he like, please, that's the only thing I got. And then he know his hands is toe up. He gonna try to punch the dude. So then it's like, what? They look at him like, what? Then when he punched, he like, oh, shoot. And then they just whoop up on Dr. Strange. And then in beating him and stomping him, they tear up his watch. And then the God saves him and takes him over to where the ancient one is. Now, he's like, shouldn't we be going over here? He wanted to go to the right instead of going to the left-hand path. So he was like, shouldn't we be going over here? This looks more like where we should be. This place over here look like, you know, it ain't going to be what I need. Right. And he was like, let me explain something to you. I need you to make sure that you are respectful. He said, because I remember I was in your same position and I was disrespectful too. And he was like, so try to curve some of, just forget everything that you thought was real. Okay. And just have your mind open. So he takes him in, and then there's this Oriental dude with long, you know, hair, and, you know, he's sitting there and he's reading. And then he's like, ancient one, I'm so pleased to meet you. And then you got this Caucasian, really slender, scrawny even. Bald-headed. Yeah. White lady. Right. Now, understand that the ancient ones or the ancient days actually had dark skin, woolly hair. Absolutely. That is mentioned in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation. All right. So the Ancient of Days was God incarnated by way of his highest angel, which was Michael or Malku Sutek, or which becomes Melchizedek later on, or the Christ, where the origin of that symbology comes from. All right. And that is the ancient Kemetic or Kushite terminology for the being who reach higher knowledge of self is Malku. Malku becomes the name Michael or Melchizedek, as we know. Later on, you'd have different other names, Hebrew names, and so forth, Arabic names, you know, Mikael, Malachi, so forth and so on. But that symbolizes the crown chakra. All right, that symbolizes the crown chakra. And so what happened was that the ancient one basically told Stephen that I know how to reorientate. Right, reorientate the spirit to better heal the body. You know, and Dr. Strange couldn't understand. He was like, you do, you know, cellular regeneration? Right. Because that is not over. He said, what you been doing? He was like, oh, okay, you ain't had no board to have to go through. Right. Okay, well, explain it to me so I can, you know, understand. Right. And she was like, oh, yeah, the spirit. Right. And he was like, what? The spirit? And he was like, the spirit. The spirit. The spirit. The spirit did that to Jonathan? Exactly. And he was like, yes, the spirit basically convinced the body that he could walk. Right. And then it was able to manifest it. Right. He couldn't fathom that. So then she goes and opens up this book, and she shows him some pages in the book, and the pages were like symbolic to the average chakra picture of somebody doing a mantra in the which all of you are familiar with, and they in Indian style. Well, you know, indigenous style. And here it is. Here's the pictures here. Okay, here's the pictures. Right. So she asked him, have he seen that before? And he said, yeah, on postcards and gift shops. Okay. And he was being facetious. Respectful. Right. All right. That's the arrogance that came through. And then, of course, then she went to this picture. She was smiling the whole time. Then she goes to this picture. Oh, yeah, acupressure, acupuncture, you know, yeah, acupuncture. I mean, yeah. He knows that. And that was the second one. Right. And then she went to this third picture. He was like an MRI. You want to show me a picture of an MRI? You sent me a picture of an MRI. So he was really getting disrespectful. And you know he had seen hundreds and thousands of MRIs as a doctor. Right. So he was insulted. She was like, well, all I'm saying is that everybody's looking at the picture in their own individual capacity. Right. And however they need to put it together. Right. And that's what she was there in order to help reorientate him into a holistic perspective, because everybody was thinking linear, and that's what he was. He was linear, right. And he was dealing with that satanic point of view that nothing exists except what I can see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. Right. In other words, what I can use my physical senses with, that's what exists. That's what's real to me. So that's a satanic perspective. That's a materialistic perspective, because we know everything isn't that. All right. And so in order to prove to him that, she punched him in his third straight in the solar plex heart chakra area. And he comes out his body. Immediately
she said, I'll push your astral form out your body in order to
did.
show you for a moment that you're more than just the physical.
So then his body gets caught by the god.
Well,
and
right.
then
Mardu catches him before his body hits the ground, and then she takes his forehead, and then she hits him right there.
Well, his whole astral body comes out and comes back into him. And he was like, what did you just do? Something was in that tea that you gave me. She was like, nothing but tea and some honey.
Well, yeah, that was that point. Right,
but that was smart, though. He was like, wait a minute, I did drink some tea, and it was good, so I drank it.
Right.
And she was like, no, that's not what happened. And then she said, bloop.
Right, hit him right on the forehead. Now, when he came out that time, that is when... The whole time, he's like several times saying, this not real, this not real, this not real. And then all of a sudden, a monarch butterfly comes.
So did, and he gets a chance to touch it.
Right, and lands on his hands. On his left hand now. The monarch butterfly lands on his left hand. Now, what is a monarch butterfly? That goes back to what we just finished talking about, the monarch agents.
The butterfly effect.
Right,
yeah.
The butterfly effect as well as that we talked about, as well as also the monarch butterfly, which was seen in the movie, the last movie that we seen, which was Nat Turner. And Nat Turner, in that joint, the monarch butterfly is shown on the bodies of those who got hung. So this monarch butterfly is being shown within movies nowadays several times. And so,
which we all know that's symbolic to the Illuminati.
Right.
Now, in Nat Turner, I think we forgot to say that they were basically telling you that they wasn't going to change the fact that they killing us. That's what it looked like to me.
Right. Mm-hmm. But what did the ancient ones say? The ancient ones said thoughts shapes reality. Case closed. Your thoughts shape reality.
True.
And that's what she told Stephen. Right? And that's what was said. You know what I'm saying? So what happens then? You know, when we look at it, we find that basically he becomes the student of the ancient one in Mardu and learns from the ancient books in the libraries, which is presided over by Master Wong. So Strange learns that the earth is basically protected from other dimensions by spells formed from 3 buildings called sanctums, found in New York City, London, and Hong Kong. All right. So the task of the sorcerers or magicians was to protect the sanctums. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, through when you see that is where you have to understand that this is, you know, the science of where it get deep at, because the whole reason why Caecilius tore the pages out the book and stole the pages was to summon the powerful Dormammu of the dark dimension, which we talked about, the dark dimension actually being triple stage darkness, which is actually dark matter, black energy, and aether. All right, which is triple stage darkness, as we refer to it as. And that's basically more than 96% of the so-called universe. Only 4% is planets, suns, moons, comets, asteroids, meteorites, etc., etc. All right, what is called visible spectrum. The other 96% or so is that dark or black matter, black energy, and that aether. You know, that's triple stage darkness. So he was called from out of there. All right, where time does not exist and where you can all live forever. At least that's what was being told. But basically, what happened that they destroyed the London sanctum, and they sent Dr. Strange from Kamaj Taj to the New York sanctum. You remember that? He went into the New York sanctum.
He sure did. He was on 771A Bleecker Street.
Right.
Because things was looking bleak.
Things was looking bleak. Exactly. He was on 1778 Bleecker Street. Now
what is that?
Add it up, as you told me.
6, 7. It was 7 because the A made it a 1.
Right. So it went right back to the number 7 again, Bleecker Street. God is even in the presence of where things look bleak.
Knowledge in God.
Right.
In order to manifest knowledge again, born.
Right, the born. All right. Hence the reason why they talked about and why the dude name is Pain Born. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That gets back to that. Now, so the task of the sorcerers is to protect the sanctums, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as they go and they stopped the channeling, and this is where Dr. Strange received the cloak, what is called the cloak of levitation.
Which the cloak chose him.
Right.
And then you also had another melanated guy who was over that sanctum who got killed.
Right.
But Dr. Strange, remember, he knew to all of this. He didn't know all his abilities, but he had been studying because he had a photographic memory. And so the cloak chose him right when he was about to go over. Matter of fact, right when he did go over the balcony, the cloak saved him and brought him up, and he was whooping butt.
Right.
As best he could.
Yeah.
And then there was this, there was a whole bunch of gadgets. And one of the gadgets that was able to capture the villain was this body that had him like hog-tied. You know, it was like just straight, and it had his mouth covered and everything. So that's how he was able to get to the next dimension without being killed by him.
Right. So basically after that scene, Strange and Mordo become delusioned with the Ancient One after Caecilius revealed that he basically that he knew that her long life was, had come from, basically the use of the Mamu's power.
The dark's energy.
Right, the so-called dark
energy. And every time they would tap into the dark energy, it would be the butterfly effect or the Bachman on their third eye.
Third eye. Right, exactly. Exactly. So Caecilius mortally wounded the Ancient One. And she's in the hospital. Dr. Strange takes her to the hospital. He calls his former lover, Christina Palmer. They are there at the hospital, trying to save her. She comes out her body. Dr. Strange comes out his body, and he goes to her and say, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
But she was ready to go by then because she had lived in so many incarnations.
Right.
So the point I want to point out too is us tapping into our own power, because you can rub your third eye. Like if you're having issues or what have you, or you're trying to keep your thoughts positive, or you're going through emotional, traumatic situations, you can focus on the energy you can focus your energy here, or you can actually rub it in order to feel the stimulation to make you focus on the energy here. And it will help to curb broken hearts or emotional distress, or it'll also help you come up with ideas, in order to help fix your situation. So when you bring the energy here, it's actually better when you bring the energy up here and then bow it to wherever you need to fix. Like the root, bow it to your heart or bow it to your throat, whatever you have to do, but it's best to bring it here and then, arc it to wherever it needs to go. But it's really I can't emphasize it enough in order to manifest in your life. If you haven't, if you want to know how to do it, that's like rubbing a genie,
Right. And also astral projection, astral travel is not it. It's not the total. That happens from the solar plexus.
Right.
All right. Master Sunyata, Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati taught us the soul travel, which comes from the crown chakra. All right. So soul travel is higher than astral travel, which the movie dealt with astral, which is actually still part of the four lower devils. All right. It's not high magic. That's low magic, actually. And that's what they were showing you, that you got to master low magic before you even get to high magic. All right. What she was doing was actually high magic, and none of them mastered that. They was always still dealing with low magic. All right. That's why Master Sunyata came and he told us, said, yo, I brought here to the States what's called Tantra Kriya Yoga. Tantra is the left-hand path. Kriya Yoga is the right-hand path. He combined both paths and said you use both. You don't use one or the other. So all you Negroes out there talking about the dark side, because you heard Bobby talk about it.
But it needs to be a balance.
Right, but it's a balance in this.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just not the dark side. It's both light and dark. It's the balance between yin and yang. The light and the dark. It's the interplay between that balance.
Right. You do see day and night every day. It's a balance.
Right. So Master Sunyata brought that to us, so that's what we say that you need. If you need to learn information, get his book, Jewel in the Lotus.
Oh, yeah.
All right, get the book, Jewel in the Lotus. You can't go wrong.
If you can, get the original version. If you can't get the original version,
But
because
if
he
not, at
actually
least the
took
third-
some pieces out of it, I
Right,
guess, because
right.
he felt like people wasn't ready for it.
Right, and if not, get the 3rd edition version. If you can't find the first. Okay, so you know, we want to build on that now. When Caecilius attacks the London sanctum, well, actually he goes after the Hong Kong sanctum now. After he went and attacked the Hong Kong sanctum, you know, this is where Strange and Mardu comes in at, and they learn, you know, what is going on, you know, and Mardu, he just turns his back. He turns his back and he walks away. You know what I'm saying? And Wong and basically
Now Mardu is the brother.
Right, Mardu is the
now
brother.
this is after they defeat
right,
the villain.
Caecilius. Right. Caecilius.
But he is so upset with how magic is being utilized under his nose. He like, I ain't with this, you know?
Right. Because he couldn't understand why would you tap into
the dark side.
The dark side. You know what I'm saying? But it was quite simple because that energy gave
it's infinite.
Right, it's infinite and gave the
it's
ability,
magnetic.
Right, and gave the ability in order to live for a longer time, in order to try to accomplish something in which that otherwise would not be accomplished in one life.
Because it's a oneness.
Right.
So he didn't understand that.
Right.
So then you had Doctor Strange. Because remember, so then you had Doctor Strange and he hooked up with Mardu. And Mardu was powerful, you know, all this infinite energy.
Oh yeah, you talking about Damamu.
Yeah, Damamu.
Right, Damamu. Right.
And so he tried to defeat Damamu, and Damamu was like, "You cannot defeat me." And then he was like, "I know I can't defeat you.
Right.
However, I have mastered this time. Space continuum.
Exactly.
You have all day and I have all day.
Right.
You have all century and I have all century.
Right.
So he just keeps on re-looping the defeat.
Right.
He keeps on getting beat by Mardu.
Right.
And he just keeps on making him relive that.
Right.
And it just drives
Damamu
crazy.
It's crazy.
So then they end up making a deal.
Right. In other words, you go back to where you came and you leave the planet alone and we be chill. You know what I mean? And so
he saved the world.
Right.
Now, at the end of the movie,
of course,
because you can't leave.
Of course, once again, this is the Albion European with the arrogance.
Yeah, and writing themselves
in the psychopathic tendencies and sociopathic
but until you start making your own Marvel comics or Marvel comics,
Uh-oh.
you know what I mean? Then that's what we're gonna have.
Marvel comics.
So let's go be extreme.
Right.
But so what was my train of thought? Damamu,
you getting ready to talk about Damamu or brother?
Oh yeah,
Marvel.
At the end of the movie. Okay, so most people got up and left, but in Marvel comics, they always have something at the end.
Right.
So then, do you know the guy that went and found the Puerto Rican Jonathan Pingborn?
Right.
He went and found him and took his ability to walk around, and then after
put it from his navel chakra.
Sure did.
Or from his lower dantian, pull that energy from his lower dantian. So that's what they were showing you, that you can remake yourself by regenerating yourself by absorbing more energy into your lower dantian.
Or your ovarian palace for the sisters.
Right, for the sisters, ovarian palace, for the males, right above the sperm palace.
It's also called your black cauldron.
Right.
Like if you're feeling tired and different things like that after work or what have you, you can fill that area mentally with energy, and then you'll have more energy for yourself and your family.
Right. And then what he did with it, obviously, was circulate that energy in a microcosmic and macrocosmic orbit.
Right.
So in his case, was a macrocosmic orbit in order to make his legs regenerate so that he can continue moving about.
A figure 8. Right. So that's deep because remember, his spine was severed at the C7 and C8.
Yeah. So
it was deep that when he took his energy from his lower dantian, he was paralyzed. And then dude is like, why you do that? You know what I mean? He on the floor like, why you do that? And then, you know, and he was like, at least he could talk. And then he was like, because it's too much sorcery.
Right. So once again,
going on. Right. And that's deep because it is too much sorcery going on. Right now, it's too much sorcery going on. Right. You got people who do not have the best interest for the planet sitting up here doing sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, while the people who have the ability to have compassion and emotions around here just riding on the coattail, waiting for the food to get slaughtered or the vegetables to get picked and then sold in the grocery store.
Right.
So so he says, okay, well, we're gonna take this power. So then it alludes to part 2. So that's, y'all, it was a good movie. You left inspired. It really was. It was really a good movie. I wish that we could talk to y'all because we like the feedback and the interaction with the people because we appreciate y'all. You know, y'all come to our website and support us. We make sure y'all get y'all orders. Y'all be posting on Facebook like, what? I ordered it yesterday. It got it today. You know what I mean? Because y'all are just that important to us. But our up and coming events is March the 17th, 18th, and 19th. You know, we gotta let y'all know that. And we're gonna be at a new location. And it's gonna be an inspirational location because it's my uncle and he has 5 acres of muscadine grapes and black grapes, Skuscanons. And also he also built him a winery. So he has so it'll be at the winery. He makes wine out of tomato. He makes wine out of watermelon, strawberries, of course, grapes. He also makes watermelon out of watermelon rinds. He made brandy, scotch, whiskey. I mean, it's just really, really good. And our people love those types of vibrations that stimulate the lower nature. So I want you to come out. It is going to be $200 for the whole weekend. If you do get your space early enough, we will have room at the bed and breakfast, which will be right next to us. And then also, too, you'll be able to see the 28 acres that we blessed with. And I really want y'all to come so that y'all can get inspired because our people are inspired by stuff. And that makes them realize that they can do, you know, the same thing, if not similar, or they can manifest their own ideas and dreams. So look forward to seeing you. And that's something that we control, so we definitely having it.
No doubt. So once again, that's March 17th, 18th, and 19th. All right, 2017. Come on out, check us out. We will be having all types of sessions, speaking engagements. We'll have other brothers and sisters here talking, everything from herbalism, irisology, qigong, tai chi, pranic healing, Reiki, various brands and forms of Reiki, and
ideas for the future.
Right, astrology, numerology, acupressure, reflexology, everything you can think of will be talked about and went over, you know, in order to make you a more holistic healer, so that you can be in the best image, you know, basically as a magician of your own destiny.
In order to absorb this energy from those who, you know, ain't gonna use it properly.
Right.
Because the powers that be right now ain't using it properly.
Indeed.
So.
Indeed, and we got a caller online. We're gonna go to area code 615. Well, 615. Area code 615. You're on the line.
You guys what?
Peace. Okay. I don't know.
Peace, brother Realtorman L. How you doing?
Doing fine. How you doing?
We doing good. Have you seen Dr. Strange?
I didn't get that. What you said?
Have you seen Dr. Strange, God?
No, I still haven't.
Oh, well, God, you definitely need to go see it. Also, too, there's a movie that's coming out with Taraji P. Henson, and she is a rocket scientist, you know, with 3 other goddesses, Janelle Monáe, I love her. So we can't wait to see that as well. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to go over to the page. So hopefully I'll be able to see what y'all are saying. Dr. Alim, I need that first word order book. God, we need you to need that first word order book. We really do. Grapes, lucky y'all. Well, it's really my uncle, and I ain't been feeling like 2016 has been lucky. Alim definitely will not be doing no flea fogger because he's not going to be in no hospital and all of that other stuff.
No.
We thank you too, Key Mega, Key Meta.
Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to go
because we just appreciate y'all. Without y'all, what would we be? And then peace, my loves, Tiffany. That's so beautiful.
Word.
What about Fences? The movie with Denzel Washington. Okay, I'm so glad you said that. I definitely want to go back and see that too. Come back to Columbus, Ohio. Y'all bring us to Columbus, Ohio. Y'all bring us there. So you have to take the forces and the dark side forces and learn how to balance them. There you go, Kiva Keys, yes. Because the dark side is symbolic to the feminine energy. That's why they acted like Eve was evil and all this other stuff, and we got to be suppressed and we got to be 3 to equal to 1. But 3 ain't never equal to 1. 4 or 5 ain't never equal to 1 either. 1 equals 1. So yes, we're gonna balance the forces in order for them not to be corrupt. See, when you imbalance in the forces, you're gonna get corruption. You know, absolute power corrupts absolute.
What about Fences?
That's right. Our own manifestation. We just appreciate y'all. I see y'all adding on. The unique thing about Strange, his average powers was true study. Yes. Some tips to master your higher self after, please, if you're reading. That's true. That is so true. Okay, some tips to master your higher self after. Okay, so some tips to master your higher self is meditation. So if you need to just meditate for 1 minute. If you have a job, you work for people for 9 hours, 8 hours. 1 minute, give yourself 1 minute at least, and then progressively go up. If you can, do longer than that. But that's some tips. And then also rubbing your third eye, and then also Tai Chi and Qigong, and then also thoughts that are positive, and then also diet. So it's so many different things that can help you master the lower nature and help you tap into your higher self. Was there any other?
This is so much, it's ridiculous. Simply just mastering the science of breath. You know, by lowering your breath, you know, extending your inhalations and extending your exhalations. That basically takes you into a different conscious state, a conscious level. And that can help you as far as healing is concerned, relieving stress, which helps your body to rejuvenate itself much better, get energy into your cellular structure, or your cells can be rejuvenated. So, I mean, that basically is the best thing to do right there. You know?
Fahim is here, God. We going up the comments because what y'all had to say is so important. Brother was like, Brother Mahabi Bey was like, where is Fahim at?
Brother Fahim?
We want to hear you, God.
They want to hear you.
Well, if it's not,
okay.
Yeah, he here, God. You know he right here.
They want to hear you. Okay.
Also too,
get a lot of weekends, you know, because you be on the show as much.
Right.
Somehow I got let her,
get it in.
Right.
I love y'all. I need y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so everybody said we look good together. So I'm all over here blushing. Thank you, y'all.
And also, thank y'all. And I also want to talk about, about the ancient one too. She noted that Mardu's strength must be balanced by strange flexibility, as Mardu is unable to recognize the need for moral flexibility, and compromise like Strange. So at the end of the movie, the illusion, from the teachings of the ancient one, after learning that the latter immortality has been the result of her drawing energy from the dark dimension, he decides to leave his fellow sorcerers. And basically, like my wife said, he goes and find a Mexican or Puerto Rican brother and
Jonathan.
Right, Jonathan Pangborn, and steals his energy.
Oh, damn.
You know, so we come to find out that he's going to be one of Strange's enemies in the next movie, obviously.
That's what it looks like.
Right, and that's actually what he is within the comic book. In the comic book series, Mordo is the enemy, you know, and basically he at the end of the movie he said that's the problem. There's too much sorcery, as my wife said stated. So, you know, I just wanted.
And that was played by Chi Wattel. Chi Wattel, energy.
Right, Chi Wattel. Right. What's his name? Ejiofor. All right, is his last name. All right, so yeah, Chi, right. You know what I'm saying? So basically, you know, that's what's going on. And Brother Rondell, I don't know what's going on with y'all getting on. We don't have
we don't have an open line, God.
Yeah, but how you do that? I mean, we got plenty of line.
Invite guest co-host.
Okay, let's do that.
Is he calling the right number?
Yeah. He's calling the right number. Okay.
You have to put his email in there.
Give me your email address, Brother Ronell, in Facebook, and I can put it into. Y'all can hear me.
Also, too, chat YouTube Live. If y'all want to call in, because we want to hear what you got to say, especially if you've seen the movie, you can dial 626-414-3535. Again, that's 626-414-3535, and just press 1 so you can be in the caller queue. Also, too, we just want to thank our team, Brother Gnostics, Brother Jamal from Dallas, Texas.
No doubt, Brother Jamal.
He new to the cipher. Look,
No
he
doubt.
chose himself. I know that's right. And then he hooks up with Brother Elohi on Tips and Tricks Tuesdays.
Brother Elohi, seafood.
You're a winner. And so they do Tips and Tricks Tuesdays at 7:00. So that's same calling number. And then we also have Sister Esther L. and Erica, which they never gave us the shout out for being on the channel, but we still love them. Peace, y'all, to the goddesses. It's just beautiful to link up with others and, you know, be able to have them also. Y'all see what they building, because they definitely are building. You know, they deal with economics. The goddess is dealing with economics. So it's really, really good.
No doubt. And we're still waiting to get on for a second here, so just bear with us. Let me bring them in and see what can be done.
What's the name of that movie again?
Dr. Strange.
Dr. Strange.
Dr. Strange, okay.
Yeah, Dr. Strange. You got to see it, Brother Al.
Yeah.
And like I said, it shows lower, you know, in the lessons, when you study the lessons, you know, Nation Gods on Earth, 5% / Nation God, you know, Nation of Islam, which you and I was also a part of. My wife and I, we studied with them for years and years. And she and I myself was a former 5%er for years. And I can't say former is my foundation, so let me just say that. We just got some plus degrees. So if I said that wrong, I take that back right quick. So let me say this, is that when you're looking at this information, you know, I think it's the Justice Lesson 10, which speaks about why must Muhammad murder the devil, and what is the duty of a Muslim in regards to the 4 devils. And the 4 devils is talking about the 4 lowest chakras. So you have the base chakra, which is root chakra, the navel chakra, sacral bone chakra, the solar plex chakra, and the heart chakra. Symbolize hatred, greed, lust, and jealousy. These are the attributes for those 4 lowest chakras. So you have to murder the devil. You have to murder these attributes in yourself. Okay? So they were showing that this solar plexus, astral travel, is still lower science, as we said earlier. So you should be practicing higher science. My book, First World Order, speaks about how to tap into the higher sciences.
Oh, really? The out of the womb, into the mind.
Right. As you know, Brother L, right, out of the womb, into the mind in particular, as we have the mantras in there, we have the techniques in there, the breathing methods, everything is in the out of the womb, into the mind. But if you need an illustration of the sciences, we got it basically, and you know, Brother L, within the last almost 2-3 chapters, we go into the higher sciences. Of and there's no book like it, so if you get the book, you'll be very pleased.
Oh yeah,
promise you that, because there's no book like it. All right, there's no book like it on the planet that's out right now. I know, because I read
thousands and thousands,
right, and have hundreds and thousands of them, of news articles, pamphlets, booklets, books,
also too, I just want to give a shout out to my mother and father, because our house flooded. Okay. And I was depressed last month, but it's like now I'm okay, because it's like, it's cold out there, you know what I mean? And I ain't cold.
When it's cold outside.
So that explains, the picture.
The month of May.
But I'm just grateful, grateful for family. Did the guy get on? So you probably gonna have to do it next time, God.
I don't know. Let me see.
Okay, we're gonna try again. Nope, that ain't working either. This is a new feature that we're trying, so we haven't perfected that. So we probably just gonna have to do it another time. Are you calling the right number?
Yeah, right number. I don't know.
I don't know what to do, y'all, because we also live streaming. So y'all, please let us know what topics you want us to discuss. I know the hugging the tree on our channel went really well. Y'all really like that. So let us know what y'all want us to talk about, and we'll do it as a duo, because we aim to make y'all happy, because we just appreciate y'all. We need y'all. So just let us know.
There's no us without y'all.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and we all in this shit together. Yeah, and I know because when the guy was sick, y'all definitely helped. I mean, it's like, I don't even know how to thank y'all for all of that. Right. But y'all, like, shoot, y'all changed my life. You know what I mean? Dr. Alim.
Right. Thanks, Brother L.
How y'all broke down at the movie Doctor Strange.
Right.
Dealing with music, dealing with the Earth, Wind, and Fire songs. Definitely with keep your head to the sky,
Right.
That is like Alim broke it down, like that. Keep them up to the higher self, So a lot of people that heard that song or listened to that song for years, they probably the first time ever understand that.
Right. And as a matter of fact, Brother L, it was my wife would tell you that Earth, Wind, and Fire used to write me all the time when I was on MySpace, and thanked me for doing DVDs with revealing and decoding the information that they had in their music. They used to thank me for it.
Oh, and also too, Floyd Mayweather Cypher reached out to Dr. Alim. Y'all please reach out again for a spiritual advisor. And y'all give us a whole lot of money like you give Polite with the money making team. I promise you, we ain't gonna be seeing how many Bentleys we can get. What I'm gonna build is, I'm gonna build a dormitory for the children, because we ain't gonna be molesting them babies like Malachi York. You see what I'm saying? That ain't gonna happen. But what we will do is, we will teach them babies Tai Chi and Qigong, high sciences. On that 28 acres, we are going to put a beauty salon, but I'll probably put a barbershop there first. And then some tiny houses. We definitely gonna have a beehive with the honey flowing, so we don't have to disturb the bees. Y'all know what them flow hive. I done already be looking at all of that stuff. So every dime is gonna go towards building, and y'all be able to see we're gonna build better. And we're not in no floodplain now. We are in 100. We done had this land. My great grandfather had this land. So this land done been in the family for over 107 years. So I'm just gonna have a little 28 acres, and that's a beautiful. So we're gonna have like the little meadow for the bees to go get their honey with. You see what I'm saying? And then the bees, they like to separate their little pollen so that all the honey will taste different. Them babies gonna know how to function each station. Like I told y'all before, we got black walnuts, we got cherries, we got grapes. Well, my uncle got grapes. We got pecan trees. We got pear trees. I don't know if they flowering pears or if they're going to be pear trees. I didn't see no pears on the ground, so I think they flowering pears, but that's okay because the bees can go and pollinate from them. We're going to be having red clover. We also going to have our own garden, so we can start eating our own food that ain't got no Roundup on it and fertilizers. The fertilizer is going to be leaves from the forest. You see? So, and then, like I said, I want a dormitory. So them babies can come and y'all can send them alone, or y'all can all come together and they'll learn the high sciences, you know, and they'll also learn business. Right. So if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? So it took us 3 years to build where we was before with our little itty bitty pennies. You see what I'm saying? While we were just putting them pennies together. Right. So it's probably going to take us, you know, maybe 2.5, 3 years, because now we got the impact of our family. You see? So we already got our team. We was assembling our team then because, you know, we was. So I'm just excited. I'm excited. And I hope that we're inspiring you to assist or continue to assist and also build in your own area. Right. Because who gonna fix our situation but us? And you see they selling pine needles. Pine needles, that's melanated people. So we at war out here while we wasting time, and we're not wasting time because I don't want to diss nobody, but we at war her, and it's a whole lot of work to do.
We did that already.
It's a whole lot of work to do.
I mentioned the name.
But I didn't. We always talking about stuff. You see what I'm saying? But I just was like, my baby was like, baby, you know, Mayweather's team called and they was asking for a spiritual advisor. So I'm like, what? Deal? What happened? And then he reminded me, and I'm like, oh my God, I ain't tripping on what nobody do. But all I know is that I'm an old sign. So I'm not wrapped up in the monetary. I don't need no $300 tie, but I ain't dissing nobody who do. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that it will be beautiful. And we got another phone call from Mayweather, and he's sliding out G's, you see what I'm saying? And I promise word is bond will build with it. What? Are you serious? I would be digging a well tomorrow. Digging a well tomorrow to get some irrigation on that virgin land. But I'm not gonna hold y'all.
No, but the hurricane is off. Maybe something. I think I was just thinking maybe something to happen for a reason, you know?
That's
with
true.
The coming of the 28 acres.
Exactly.
So I know y'all been planning. I know y'all financing up on things, and I know y'all got big plans for that 28 acres.
You know we do, guys.
Just mention, you know, the beehive where you can make your own honey
and wax.
Growing grapes, watermelon, melon. I mean, and I just can't, et cetera, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. Right. And, you know, it's different when, you know, you got love in the fruits and the vegetables and you got youngins out there running around, you know, tilling the land. So I'm just really excited. I really am excited. You out there doing Tai Chi and Qigong. I know because the raspberries that grow up at my grandmother's house, who she 94 and a half, but those raspberries were the sweetest. Like you could pull on the side of the road and taste those. They was no way near her. So I know. Okay, we got somebody who want to add on. Peace, y'all.
RP Beats. You on here? Peace, brother. DJ RP Beats. Yeah. I thought I did too, brother L.
Mm-hmm.
You on here?
Area code 845. You are live.
Area code 845. DJ RP Beats.
Oh, they hung up.
I dropped. All right, so.
Well, we're going to call it a night, if that's all right.
Yeah, brother L, you got anything you want to say before we go?
I I enjoyed the show tonight, brothers. I love the way y'all breaking down the music and the movies and everything like that. You know, because that's what one of my topics I like talking about also. You know, I understood what Bobby Hemp said at the time, that he really hated when people said they don't go to the movies. You know, because there's so much science,
right?
So much of our science in these movies. You know,
right.
And more of us really need to go check out these movies, you know.
You right about that,
yeah.
God. You won't ask him to call in again? Just call you to come on.
But as always, I enjoyed the blog talk show tonight. So, and looking forward for the next one.
All right. No doubt.
Ashe, us too, God.
Right, and I thought the brother was going to come on. I didn't want to interrupt my wife as she was talking about a 94-year-old grandma, which we also look after. What you wanted to say, baby? Go ahead.
I said everything. Y'all have a wonderful night. Y'all stay safe. And family is the utmost of importance. So make sure you hug and you love your family.
Hug and love.
Hug and love.
And
you love.
And like her other 94-year-old grandma used to say, stay like two bugs.
2 peas in the pot.
And 2 peas in the pot and 2 bugs snug in the rug.
We laughed because she was hilarious. Every shut eye ain't sleep and every goodbye ain't gone. She would say, you cruising, looking for a bruising.
And I'm tougher than leather.
Yeah,
well
because she was all chocolate and all the 80 pounds.
And well put together.
And the sickest ain't always the quickest.
and her favorite was, you know what I want.
You know what I want.
And I always send me back, you want to talk to Samson? With David Chappelle when in the movie Bake, Have Bake. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk to Samson?
May she rest in peace.
She was funny.
Yeah, she was hilarious.
Yeah, she was, y'all.
Yeah. No, peace and love, y'all. Peace and love. We had a good time with y'all. All right. Peace.
All right, peace.